But if I try to look at it, just let's say if you want to use any of the service, okay, so basically it's a big list. So just in compute, which is, let's say if you want some kind of a virtual machine or something, you have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. While so in that sense you can understand anything you want. Let's say you want database to be developed on Azure as a platform, the PaaS services, you have 9 to 10 options. If you want to do any kind of web applications, you have so many options. So we understand it could be overwhelming. So we will try to give you in next, let's say 10-15 minutes, we will try to give you an idea of how to go about learning Azure, because we understand this totally. We understand, we feel that pain that when you look at it, it feels very overwhelming. And many of you may not be able to take the baby step. So this session is the initial 10 to 15 minutes are just to give you, let's say, like before you learn swimming, we want you to at least wet your foot. So I will try to give you a feeling of how do you wet your foot into the world of cloud, which is very, very interesting once you get hold of it, but it's going to take its own time. Okay. So at a high level, this is the usual thing which starts. You must have already heard these terms, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS kind of terms. I will not put too much focus on them. So just give me a minute, guys. Pen is working. We saw that mostly people are using PaaS services. Now, just to give you an idea, normally I give this analogy in explaining these IaaS versus PaaS kind of a model on cloud. That IaaS is like, if you want to build your own house, IaaS is like at least not building a bungalow kind of a thing on the scratch land, okay, which is something which you will do. So when you want to run any kind of services, let's say as an organization, first let me wear the hat of an organization. If they want to develop services, mostly they will take help of, let's say, services like on premises, they will create data centers. And with this data centers, they will need to buy everything upfront. Okay, this is an era which is now going out of fashion very, let's say, very fast. And the cloud models of IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS are picking up. And why? Because this has huge advantage compared to spending so much money upfront in your own data center. Let's say if you want to run some kind of compute service or virtual machine or a database, rather than buying your own hardware, in the analogy of buying a house, you could just go for an apartment which is pre-built and you just do its interiors, which is of course still your responsibility in an IaaS model, because out here you get is like a bare shell account and a VM. You decide your OS, you patch it up and everything. So we are seeing even the industry, and so is true for the student projects. People are mostly using PaaS services because mostly what you people need, maybe a website to be hosted, maybe a database to be run, or maybe some kind of other service that you want, a key vault for storing your passwords or something, or a service to use. We see AI ML is becoming very popular. So we'll try to show you some cognitive services in that space. But what a PaaS gives you is the analogy of house. As I said, this left side is like building a bungalow from scratch. This is like buying an apartment, which is not designed, interiors are not designed, and you need to do all that. This is like shifting into an Airbnb kind of a thing, okay, where a lot of things are ready for you. You just need to, let's say, reach the place and start living, and of course, do various other maintenance stuff once you are there. But this is the PaaS service, and we are seeing mainly the web hosting service. So we will try to show you a small demo of a web application very soon. Within minutes, I will show you that how you can create a web application using one of the platform as a service of Azure, and it will be up and running, and I will share the link with all of you, and you will also be able to access it as a website. So in general, this is how easy it is. And SaaS example is something which is like checking into an hotel in the house analogy, in which practically you need to do even less work. But this is mainly for like, Office 365 or those kind of applications. Anyway, this is not the general cloud gyan which I want to give you here. We would like it to be as realistic, as practical as possible to enable you to start your learning journey on cloud. So for that, we will mainly be focusing on 2 or 3 PaaS services. But at a high level, be aware that if any of the PaaS services are not satisfying your purpose, You can use an IaaS service like start a VM, install your own software and play with it. The good thing is, as part of your FRT program, you are getting what is called a free tier account of Azure, which gives you a credit for 30 days or whatever, depending on your student benefits. And accordingly, you can use those services, take the most advantage of it. You have got access to great material from Microsoft, free of cost, in which you can access those, learn these concepts. So it's a golden opportunity for all of you who are trying to participate in this FRT program. And this is trying to make you, again, this is an attempt by Microsoft to make you ready for, let's say, oncoming market demand, because cloud is heavily popular these days, and a lot of organizations either are already into the cloud or they are trying to move into cloud. So overall, if we talk about Azure resources, there is this concept of virtual machine, as I explained. So virtual machine is the most basic thing that you can do. This is like a storage service. You can think of it like a hard disk. Even this kind of a service is available. You may create your own network. But as I said, we would like to keep things simple. So I will look at this service, app service. It's a very interesting service. And we saw many of the students using it. So we thought, as this excites many of you and who have used it in their project, because anybody wants to host a website or a front end of any kind needs something like a web service. So this is an app service, which is the name of the PaaS service of Azure. You can run databases with click of button. We may not show it to you, but be aware there are possibility to run a database within minutes and you can start creating your table. This is also like a PaaS service. And function app is an even higher level of PaaS, where what you do is, rather than writing your complete application code, if you have some kind of what is called event-driven architecture, that let's say if a mail comes, you want something to get triggered, so you can have function apps or something. But again, we have not seen too many participants of FRT using functions, but still we wanted to let you know, because these three are normally they could be popular use cases. So considering the time that we have, and this is just kind of a, as I said, putting your feet in the water. So we will try to give you an exposure to the app service. So what I will do, I have a ready-made, a very simple HTML program. The purpose of this is not to show you a complex program and make you, let's say, afraid of this, but just to excite you. So we chose on purpose a simple program. It is just like a hello world kind of a program. It's a welcome message to these participants of today's batch and date. Something is mentioned. All I will do is I will take help of the PaaS service, and we will try to do a demo, and we will create a service right now in front of you.